Hello everybody, and welcome to a quick update on where we stand with our investment, and then I'm going to get into a new venture that I've gotten into to help with a charity aspect of what we're doing with these trusts, and it kind of explains so other people that are not in the Woolard Enterprises investment, dinar investment, may want to know about Jireh Token. So first off, this is our account activity as of today, and as you can see, we've dropped just below 2 billion dinar in our portfolio, but a couple of things have dropped, but overall we're right at the same, less than 100 million or so dinar as a whole. So like I've stated in the past, these stocks are going to go up, they're going to go down. We have not made a deposit in quite a while. I'm looking probably in the next 2 weeks to a month and a half, we may end up having to send another over there. As you know, we are no longer open to new members. We're only allowing people that are already in the group to add to their investment if they choose to do so. And a lot of that, the reasoning behind that and cutting off new memberships was I did not want to have a conflict that I am using Jireh Token to try to get people to join this group. And that was one of several reasons, but I just didn't want there to be any sort of issues as far as the integrity of this group and using it as a platform for the other, or vice versa. In saying that, Woolard Enterprises is a business trust. It is wholly owned by True Texas Trust. Woolard Enterprises is a business trust. True Texas Trust is a beneficiary trust. Woolard Enterprises cannot own any assets because it is a business trust. So everything that Woolard Enterprises owns filters down into the beneficiary trust, and the beneficiary trust cannot have anything that has to do with active income. So the money made from Woolard Enterprises has to go through it, and then any of the profits that are made would filter down, but that way the beneficiary trust does not have a role in any active income. But True Texas Trust can own property, it can have dividends, capital gains, and all of that, and it doesn't pay any taxes on any of that until funds are paid out to a beneficiary. So as far as the trust itself, the True Texas Trust owns and will operate Jireh Token. Okay, let me get into what Jireh Token actually is. It is a token that will be launched on July 1st. I have stated to several people exactly what I want to do with the funds when I make money from the Woolard Enterprises investment. I'm not doing it for me personally. I have enough dinar, and of course we're not going to get a payout until there is a change in that value, but I have enough of that to do me for the rest of my life easily. So the profits that I make off of the actual investment in the Iraqi stock market, we're going to, and I've kind of developed and changed and done a few things with it since, but we were originally going to do several things to help widows. It started out homeless, and it's kind of evolved. And so my goal is to help as many widows as possible. Starting Jireh Token will help us fast track my mission and my goals charity-wise. It will create income while we are waiting on the Willard Enterprises investment to finally take off. Again, I'm not stating that we're going to be waiting a while or anything else, but this is all an accumulative effort to try to get funds so that I can get my charity off the ground. And when I say charity, I'm not talking about a 501c3. The only difference in it going through our trust and completely being a 501c3 are, well, they're twofold. One, I don't have to have the government breathing down my back and having to be in my business, or possibly have it to a point where we nominate people on a board that pull this rug out from under me. If it also, the only advantage to having a 501c3 and having it in the trust would be simply property taxes. So that will all be built in, so there's not anything to worry about there. So it's much more beneficial for me to do all this under the trust, and that way I'm able to help more people. So basically what Jireh Token is, it is going to be a token that will be released on the Binance Smart Chain through PancakeSwap, which, if you're familiar with tokens at all and you've bought through Uniswap or Shiba Swap or any of those, it's just simply a platform where you can actually do trades without the token being listed on any exchanges. Exchanges will come later, but some of them are relatively expensive to get listed on, and there are many factors involved in getting it listed on exchanges. That is coming. So Jireh Token is going to be the money that we make. There will be a tax, and if you're familiar with tokens but you're not familiar with altcoins, when you purchase tokens, you pay a tax, and in our case it's 5%. I mean, I've seen it as high as 24%. It's not uncommon for most to charge around 10%. Our buy tax is 5%. In other words, you buy 1 million tokens for whatever the price may be. Let's just say it's a million tokens for $100. Okay, you buy that 1 million tokens, you're actually only going to get, what would it be, 9,950,000, something, whatever it is, the 5%. So when you buy, 5% of those tokens are going elsewhere. 2% is going to our marketing wallet, and those funds will be used to help further promote the token, because what you want with any token is activity. You want people buying and selling, and hopefully more buyers than sellers, and you want to drive the price up. You want to make a profit. Some do, some will hold, and I'll explain that. But you want to let it grow 5, 10, 100 times the value. Then you want to sell, you wait for a dip, you buy it again, and some people repeat that process. Others will continue to hold it, because every 1% of the tax is reflections. So the system, when you buy that 1 million tokens, 1% of that, or 10,000 of those tokens, is going to be distributed among others holding the token. So depending on how many people have it, will be depending on how much you have, and it's evenly split through the contract, and you'll constantly, every buy and sell, you're going to see, if you hold Jireh Token, you're going to see that token count increase. Various places do it in various ways, and you'll just have to keep an eye on your own contract to see the increase. The third tax, 2%, is what we're calling the charity wallet. With the charity wallet, we will do two things with it. Some will be used to go toward helping widows and widowers and helping them stay in their home. And by doing that, each situation will call for various needs, and we will work out all the qualifications, and we will do each request on an as needed basis according to what we feel that we can do best to help them stay in their home. It could be helping widows in general that might be renting, but they've lost their spouse, they've lost a chunk of their income. I mean, every situation is going to be different as to how we help. We kind of detailed it out initially, but we had to change that because after having several discussions, things weren't applying to some who may need the help. So we're going to develop that as we go. But 2% of every transaction goes to the charity fund. Part of the charity fund is going to be used to purchase property. And once we have purchased that property, we will pay 100% cash, and then we will lease that property out. So if we've got a house, and in the area that we're going is a relatively poor area for the most part. It is an old area. So we're looking at buying older homes, smaller homes that we can rent out for $400, $500, $600 a month. But because they are smaller, they're in this area, they aren't as expensive. We will have a team that will go in and make them rent ready. And once we have done that, let's say we rent for $500 a month. Of that $500, 25% comes off the top for administrative use. So $125. So now we have $375. 40% of that will go to the widow fund. 30% will go into a fund to purchase more properties. 10% will be held out for taxes and insurance. Another 10% will be held out for maintenance. And then the final 10% will be put into a fund where when we have a specific amount, we will use those funds to purchase Jireh Token, and then we will burn what we buy. And for those that aren't real familiar with this, here's how it would work. Let's say we've got, and it's going to take a little time to get several properties where this makes a massive difference, but we're going to do it as quickly as possible. But let's say we take $1,000 worth of the token and we make a purchase. We buy the token. Now you're getting 1% of those sales in your reflections. But we're burning the tokens that we purchase. When we send it to the burn wallet, now you're getting a percentage of that, plus the burn tokens will never be in circulation again. So we're starting off with 100 million tokens. And we're guaranteeing that we're going to burn not less than 1 million a month. So that, regardless of where we make rental property funds or use those or not, we're still going to be burning 1 million tokens. And that will either come from our personal accounts where we've bought tokens or somehow, but once a month we will burn a minimum of 1 million tokens. It's kind of insignificant when you're talking 100 trillion, but when we've got 20, 50, 100 properties, 500 properties, and you're taking a chunk of that and burning it each month, we should get to where we're burning several $1,000s a month, or possibly even tens of thousands a month. It just depends. Well, what does that do? Number one, it gives you those reflections both ways, but it's also theoretically, the lower the supply, the higher the price. And you've seen evidence that that's not quite the case, but generally, as we reduce the supply, the value will go up. There's no guarantees of that, but that is essentially, I mean, if we start with 100 billion tokens and we're selling it for 0.000001, and we burned half, well then technically the value would be 2. So if we burned half of the tokens, then the other should be at least double. But I can assure you that that's not going to work out that way. The value of the token should steadily increase regardless, just based on the volume. We will, like I said, we will guarantee that we will burn 1 million tokens minimal a month, and I may just decide to do more even if we don't have the rental property income coming in yet. That will take a little time for all of that to get set up. But with Jireh Token, you can see what we're talking about on the white paper here. I mean, this is JirehToken.com. Okay. You can join us on Telegram. You can join us on Twitter. Speaking of Telegram, Telegram is the place that we will initially announce that we are live. Okay? Once he hits that switch within a minute or two, you should be notified on Jireh Token Official, our Telegram group, right here. And you can click that link. But you'll be notified that the contract is live. Please, 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 when you go to PancakeSwap or wherever you go, make sure this is the address that it's going to. If you send it to a different address other than this one, you may end up losing your money and you could possibly have your wallet stolen. So you want to make sure that this is the address that you're purchasing from. There could be multiple Jireh tokens out there, and that's the way these thieves operate. So just make sure the contract address is this contract address, okay? And you'll be able to tell if you click that. We deployed the contract 20 days ago. Right now, we have yet to fund it. When we fund it, it goes live. And once the contract, this entire contract is right here. You can see about all the taxes. Most people won't have a clue what all this is. But anything you need to know about how this works, what will happen, is all written in this code, okay? And there's one line, I'm not going to pretend to know exactly where it's at, but there is a line in here that currently says false. And once we change that to true, and we have sent it across with the matching funds, we have to pair it with BNB. And once we've done that, then then it's live. So basically this contract is what tells the token what it's going to do. And as you can see, it's extremely lengthy. And we are currently having it audited at this time. So we are going through Solidity Finance. I expect by the end of this week that should be complete. And at any time, if you make a lot of money and you're happy with the token, or for whatever reason you want to help us move our charity further along, you can always send Ethereum, Jireh Token, or BSC to this address. All right. And because we won't hide anything, you'll always know what we have in both our marketing wallet and our dev wallet. And there's no tax for dev on the buys. There is an 8% tax on the sells. 2% go to the reflections, meaning that every time somebody sells, you're doubling the tokens that you got when you bought. So not your tokens, but we're doubling the reflections that go out to holders. Then there's the same 2% marketing, the same 2% charity. That's 6%, and then 1% is going to the developer wallet. This is paying all the people that are helping with this token. And then 1% goes back into the liquidity pool, which helps sustain the base value. All right, and again, we are doing 100 billion tokens. I think I just went over the buys and the sells. Reflections 1%, marketing 2, charity 2. Reflections on sells 2, marketing 2, charity 2, 1% on the developer wallet, and then 1% back into the liquidity pool. Our roadmap, which is what we're planning on doing each quarter. We're not launching until quarter 3. July 1st should start quarter 3. And then on our site, we show you exactly the steps you need to take in order to be able to successfully purchase Jireh Token. Okay, and initially it's all going to be done through PancakeSwap. About the token and what we're trying to do. This shows all of our most recent tweets. And we go in and explain again how the utility part works. Most tokens, there are meme tokens, and they basically have no function other than somebody wanted to launch a token. Then you have utility tokens. Well, our utility is the properties that we will have purchased that will be coming back to buy and burn tokens, lessening the supply every month. One of the things that I don't know if people are aware of, I started buying tokens. Well, I've been in crypto for about 7 years, I guess, maybe a little longer. I've never gotten one that skyrocketed like some of these people you hear about, but I did dabble in crypto, but thinking that I wanted to start this charity, I started investing with the goal in mind that should something happen with one that we're invested in, then that would help us move further along. I had no doubt in Iraq eventually doing something. I just still don't know how long we're going to have to wait. I'm hoping it's right around the corner, but we just don't know. But in the meantime, I have been buying different crypto, and this is I think it's a pretty full list of all the different cryptos that I currently own. And when I say I'm talking about True Texas Trust, because everything that I have belongs to True Texas Trust. So any profits made from any of these tokens that we're holding will be used for the most part, to purchase properties. So not only are we waiting on that 2% to build up to buy these properties, we're going to use monies made from these. And some of them could be extremely substantial amounts. We are in a very massive bear cycle right now. But once we start a bull run, then I will be selling some of these just to turn over and get the funds to be used for the charity. Some of the funds that we make on some of this will be used to purchase other tokens, but a big part of it will be used to purchase properties, which we will be able to start renting almost immediately, and then we will be able to take 10% of those funds from that rent and burn more tokens. My goal is to burn half of the supply within the first 12 to 18 months that we're in business. I don't know if that goal is attainable or not. I can't say for sure. But what I can tell you is that getting into Jireh Token, you'll be able to make money the way some people just buy and sell all day long. But you've got to make sure you understand that when you sell, you're losing 8%. When you buy, you're losing 5%. So that's 13%. So unless it's gone up 20% or more for you, then it's not going to be worth it for you to sell. So you've got to count your taxes in there as part of the profit. But typically, you should be able to make money on the short term, and you should also be able to make a lot on the long term. Again, there's no guarantees, but my goal is to make the investor money and be able to help a lot of people through the charity. And that's really the whole goal of this. Now, saying that, since there are no major changes, I don't remember the last time I put out an update for Willard Enterprises, but you have to understand that all we're waiting for is a change in the rate. I don't know when that's going to be, so I'm not going to be updating that as often. I will be doing videos on Jireh Token. I'm not going to split the channel up and have a separate channel. So you can just look at the title, see what it's about, and decide whether or not you want to watch the videos. But we will be doing some live feeds through our Willard Enterprises YouTube channel, and we'll be doing some updates on this token itself through that channel. And it's just because I don't want to have a bunch of different channels. So that's what we're doing, folks. And I hope if you're at all interested in cryptocurrency that you'll strongly consider this one. I'm not trying to push you to be a first time in crypto and throw money in this. You have substantial risk, as with any investment. So do so at your own will. I'm going to continue to bring information to everyone, and it's up to them to do with that information what they choose. If something crazy happened and you lose your money on this, it's like I said, there's risk involved. So just take it for what it's worth. The more people we get active in the token, the more we have buying and selling, the better off you're going to do if you're a holder. Because that 1% turns out to be a lot of tokens after a while. I have some tokens that I have reflections, and I've made many billions of tokens extra. Right now it still hasn't paid off because of the bear cycle, but also Imagine had we launched back when I wanted to launch, you would be down around 80 to 90% most likely of your investment, and you'd be angry at Andy. We've waited until now. First off, I didn't find the right developer, but now that we have all this done, I think there's no way to prove for sure, but I believe we're getting toward the end of the bear cycle, and now we have really nowhere to go but up from here. So I think it was to our advantage. I truly believe God is watching out for me, and He knows what I'm trying to do. And I've got a little protection around me, and I believe that this one will be a successful token. Time will tell. But that's really all I wanted to do, was get out here and share it with you, and we'll see where it goes. I thank you all for listening, and we will talk to you soon. God bless you all.